Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Sarah tako ingoa. Hello everyone, my name's Sarah and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the Master of Sustainable Business. The Master of Sustainable Business is one of our taught Masters programs. It lasts for a calendar year, usually from February to February, and in 2021 we're going to start offering it by distance. I'm just going to give you a wee bit of background of the program and then just talk through what the program entails today. So first of all, I'm just starting with some pretty pictures of New Zealand, and this is pretty much how we like to think about our country, Aotearoa. We like to think of the blue skies, the sunshine, the beautiful lakes and mountains. But actually, if we look at this diagram from the Ministry for the Environment, we start to see different aspects across our country and different issues that are occurring in Aotearoa that we need to start dealing with and that we are starting to deal with. And that's not just us as a society and our government and our planning, but also within our businesses and the way that we operate businesses. Globally too, we see a shift. We have the Sustainable Development Goals since 2015 at the UN and at that global level that sets 17 different goals with a number of different objectives in order for us to start thinking about how we achieve sustainability and actually start working towards sustainability as a country. And you can see in there's many aspects that pertain to businesses: decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, responsible consumption and production. Really key for our businesses. In terms of our businesses and that particular business level and thinking about that context, we have what we call a dominant operational model. And you'll see this often called that linear model of take, make and waste. Now we're really starting to see some shifts away from that, and as many people talk about, we're coming up against some of the barriers or limitations of this model, particularly when we think about waste. Where do we keep putting all of this waste? And we've seen a lot of that in relation to plastic. So the new model that's being put out there is around circular, mio. That circular movement across our different materials and keeping things within the circle within that business. So eliminating that notion of waste. And this is really important to be thinking about because it affects so many different skills across our businesses. So not only is it changing business models, it's changing that whole business system, our operational system, changing those ecosystems of how businesses work together across our industrial ecologies. And also, as mentioned, down on the shop in terms of individual level, those skills and knowledges that people are going to need in the workplace in order to design our products so that we can take them apart and reuse those different parts rather than throwing them out. So therefore, we're starting to see a raft of different jobs coming into the job market. And this was taken just last week. So post-COVID, we're still seeing a number of different sustainability positions being advertised. And you can see here sustainability coordinators, engagement advisors, environmental advisors across some of our key big companies in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and globally we see quite a number of these different jobs emerging. So therefore, what we've done is we've got a program, as I said, 1 year taught master's program for students with any degree to enter into with B+ or higher, that are really keen to make a difference in the workplace and start thinking about those social and environmental impacts. The degree structure has a number of core papers, and these are ones on the left-hand side here, and then a number of electives that can be chosen to supplement those core papers, but also bring in some of the key skills that each different person is wanting to put together, so their own sort of package and program across that notion of sustainability. Plus, there's a project or a research project, an applied or a research project that usually happens over summer, so a 3-month project, and often most students are taking the applied option with us and working in different organisations, developing a research project or consultancy style project within these organisations. So I've just examples here, and these are 3 different examples. This one here, for example, is looking at the future of youth development in Dunedin. It looked across different youth development agencies, but was particularly focused in on one and really wrote the report for one particular youth development agency, but yet used a futures research method and tried to look at the future alternatives of what might be happening in order to provide some really interesting research to help that agency think about what it needs to get ready for. This one was a piece of desk research, another style of project. So this one here was looking at the plastics industry and using a particular framework to start to think about change within the plastics industry. And finally, this one was a very applied project that operated within a cafe in Dunedin and looked at developing particular recommendations for that particular workplace. So each one of those operated as an applied project because the issue came from real world examples that students set out to solve and think about. Two past students that have gone on to do some exciting things. The first one here, Holly Leach, is now working for the Sustainable Business Network, and she's working a lot with young people and getting young professionals involved with sustainability in the workplace. And Emily O'Shea was working as a research consultant, again touching in on some of those sustainability aspects, but also finding that the project and that independent piece of research in an applied manner around a key issue was really important in her employer seeing her as key for the workplace. So who can apply for the Master of Sustainable Business? We're looking for any graduates that have achieved an average of a grade of B+ in relevant 300 level papers. So this background can be in any degree. And come in and again, as we went through before, have those core papers and those electives. There's no cut-off date. We go right through to February 2021 where we start. So if you decide over Christmas that this is a key area that you want to think about, then you can apply right up until February. As I mentioned before, there is a distance option pending academic approval that should be in place for 2021. So you don't necessarily have to come to Otapoti to study this particular program, but you can study that in your own place. Thank you very much for listening to this short presentation, and I hope you've learned something about the Sustainable Business Program we have running here. If you want any more information, please contact me at my email address there.